FIEO Ajay Sahai is with us. Ajay, media reports have been saying that there could be a scheme for faster refunds to levy to exporters as a part of 100-day agenda. What are the expectations once we have the election out of our way?
In fact, since the same government has come into power, I'm sure they are quite aware of the challenges faced by the export sector. But looking into the dynamics of the global development, we need to revisit our strategy. And I think the focus of the government, particularly in the first 100 days, should be on the low-hanging fruits. So the biggest challenge which is being faced by the export sector is on the liquidity front. Banks have become extremely cautious to lend to the export sector. Even renewal of limit is taking a lot of time. The e-wallet, which provided some kind of provision for advance support for the payment of the GST, has not yet been rolled out. There are cases for the refund problem with regard to the ITC, but you have rightly put, I think the government needs to look into, since the US has raised some concern on the existing scheme of the MEIS, and we have to replace it with the WTO compatible scheme. One option for that is that the rebate of state and central levies scheme, which has just been rolled out for apparel and made up sector, may be extended to all sectors, because this schemes fits into the WTO discipline and it may not be countervailed on the ground that it is not adhering to the principle of the WTO. But this requires voluminous work. We are exporting around 6,000 plus products. So exercise for apparel and made up were quite limited, but if we want to extend this scheme to 6,000 odd products, this may be a work of few months, but I'm sure the government should start the exercise initially for the products which have quite a voluminous export from the country.
Also, if you could just tell us any other incentives which are needed, to boost exports, considering the trade wars are happening worldwide, how big a opportunity or threat is it for the Indian exporters?
Now, in fact, if you are looking into the trade war, and statistically speaking, our data shows that we have benefited because of the trade war. Our exports to US has gone up by around close to 12%, and to China around 32%. What is more encouraging for our exports to China is that we have got access in the value added segment of export, which was not there. We are now exporting automobile and auto component, machinery, electrical equipment, specialty chemicals, organic chemicals and plastic. Secondly, China is now willing to provide more market access to India. It has happened for many of agriculture and food products, because China would not like to give a message to the consumer that because of the trade war, prices of the products have gone up. And that's why I think it's a wonderful opportunity for India to look into Chinese market very closely. And thirdly, I feel that a lot of investment will be pulled out of China, and this provides us an opportunity to attract those investment in the country. But let me also touch the flip side of that. I personally feel that the trade war has created huge amount of uncertainty into the global trade, and its impact will be on all the countries who are in the field of exports. A bigger worry is on the currency front. We have seen that Chinese currency has depreciated already by 3%, and with a view to offset the losses in US, if the China further depreciates its currency, we are all set for a problem. And that's why I say that, of course, we are gaining from the trade war, but since the trade war definitely affects the very principle of the free trade and the non-discrimination, we have to be a little cautious on the front.
Just in terms of, the tie-ups that you were mentioning, can you just tell us that you expect a lot of foreign partners to come and put in a lot of FDI into India, which can then lead to exports? That's what you're trying to hint?
Yeah, what I'm saying that a lot of investment of American and European companies has gone to China because they were looking into the opportunity of exporting back to US. Now, since the tariff on many of the products which are being exported from China to US has gone up, these companies are looking at opportunity to relocate to the new position. And this is true of some of the Chinese companies also, who are predominantly in the field of export with focus on US. So all these companies are looking at the opportunity to move out of China. They may go to Cambodia, they may go to Vietnam, they can come to India. We have been successful in attracting many of the Chinese companies in mobile sector, and that's why we should look into the opportunity to bring some of the major players who have already invested in China and who are now pulling out of China to come to India. I think we require a very aggressive strategy to attract that. They are definitely sitting on the fence to cross over from China.
Thank you so much, Ajay, for taking out time for us. Always good to get perspective.